number?
Yes.
Okay, okay. Okay, okay.
May I please speak to your manager? Is your manager available? Is it for just today you guys want a manager? Oh, I would like to drop off a resume. Do you guys have an acting manager? Or an assistant? Online?
All I can say is fear is a mile wide and an inch deep. The thing that I was putting off, this big, bad, scary thing, wasn't scary at all. There's this quote I want to read. It says, "Fear is a mile wide and an inch deep. We perceive it as a massive ocean, then we step into it and realize it's just a puddle." Okay? So how it actually went. People are really protective and stingy of their jobs, and nobody wants you taking their job away from them. Like, the amount of time I went in and like I asked for like a manager, and they were like, the manager isn't here right now. The manager is literally in the back. Like, they could go get the manager, but they're just like, nope, I don't want competition. You're gonna take my shift. You're gonna take my hours. One guy literally, I asked him where the manager was. He's like, I don't know. Then I go to the back to ask somebody else because I know he's lying. This guy literally follows me all the way to the back. And it's like, you have to apply online. You have to apply online. I'm like, yeah, but I still would like to drop out my resume in person to an actual manager. Like, and then the other girl was just like, yeah, Cassandra's there. I think it's Cassandra Christine. So that's how most of it went. Or like, if they thought you were trying to get, if they thought I was trying to get their position, they would be like, oh yeah, like we're not like hiring, like I don't know, like, and then I'd be like, oh, I'm not really interested in this. I'm actually interested in that other position. Oh, okay. All of a sudden, miraculously, the manager would appear. So a year ago, I was working at a restaurant. I was a hostess, and later on I became like a busser. The long and the short of it is I basically got tired of being treated like disposable garbage. If you've ever worked any of these like minimum wage type jobs, you know what I'm talking about. You are basically beholden to these people who don't care about you and who treat you like literal garbage. They hired like these new managers that were just, how do I put it? So the bar manager was like inconsequential to me. He wouldn't have affected my life, but the other two absolutely would have. One of the managers they hired, he was not a personality hire, but I don't know what you would call this one. These are the kinds of people where they basically are super lazy, but they do a good job at like faking like they're busy. And one of the ways they do it is by going around and dictating tasks to other people. So that way it looks like, oh my God, this person has like leadership skills. So they'll be working at a place for like literally a month and a half. And then you'll see them walk around with like a clipboard because somebody promoted them, because somebody thinks that they're like a leader. Okay. So one of the managers, that was definitely his vibe. He was so freaking lazy, and you can tell he got to where he got to because he was able to fake being busy and pretend to have leadership skills by picking on weaker people and getting them to do all the work for him. So that was a no-go. The second manager was completely heartless. If you ever worked in the restaurant business, you know you don't get like proper breaks. You can take like smoke breaks, or you can have like a 5-minute rest period or whatever, but you don't actually get breaks. So this new girl started working there, and she didn't know that. She was like a young girl. I guess it's like her first job. And she didn't realize you don't get breaks. So she was like super hungry, and she asked this new manager, hey, like I have a granola in my bag. Can I please just go eat it like for like 2 minutes? Like I'm so hungry. I'm in pain. Like she was so hungry. She started being in pain. And the manager looked at her and was like, no, we're busy right now. You can't do that. And she's like, I haven't eaten all day. I thought I would just eat on my break. Like, I'm really hungry. She's like, no, you can't. So I knew right away I was not going to get along with these two people. Combined with everything else that I had been experiencing at this job, I was like, it's time to head out. But I didn't actually quit without a plan. I had a little, it wasn't a side hustle, it was like a full-blown business. I had a business that I was going to start. And basically, long and the short of that is I both overestimated what it would take and underestimated what it would take. And after I quit, when I started working on it, things just fell apart so quickly. So quickly. And so did my confidence. So did my confidence. And after that, I just found it so hard to go back to like working a regular job because of everything I just explained. Like, I just did not want to go back in that environment at all. Hello, it's Editing Me here. I just want to clarify something. I have no problem working a regular job. What I meant to say was minimum wage job. I couldn't imagine going back to working a minimum wage job. Every time I thought about like dropping off a resume, there would be this ginormous pit in my stomach that I just could not shake. And it led to me just making excuses every single day. Every day it was something else. Possibility of me running into classmates or former colleagues or anything, like they wouldn't know basically that I had failed in life. Like, I wanted a job that I could hide where no one knew, like, oh my God, she failed. Like, she didn't become this, she didn't become that. And I was having the hardest time finding those jobs. And I know I shouldn't have this mindset because really and truly, you know, people who work minimum wage jobs or like labor intensive jobs, they are the hardest working people on this planet. Like, nobody works harder than a dishwasher, than a waiter, than a janitor, like than a maid. Nobody works harder than these people. Maybe nurses. I would say nurses, teachers. Yeah, I would probably put those in there. But outside of that, like a farmer, who works harder than the people who get paid and are like respected the least in our society? And, you know, while I was working at my restaurant, there were days where I remember just looking at the dishwasher and looking at just everyone in that restaurant and how hard everyone worked and thinking like, we don't deserve to be looked down upon the way we do. But the fact of the matter is that's just the way of the world. Like, people look down on you if you don't have a certain job or if you don't get paid a certain amount. People think you're lazy. They think your job is unskilled. It doesn't require any real effort. You know, I was watching this podcast and her name is going to slip me. I think it's Ashley C. Ford. She was on the Financial Diet. And she talked about how she was she worked at the grocery store. But she was a writer, but she just didn't have like I'm paraphrasing here, but she didn't have the confidence to like publish her work. And how, you know, when she would go to parties or meet people, when she said she worked at the grocery store, nobody would really ask any follow-up questions. When she became a writer, she basically made around the same amount as she did at the grocery store. Like, she was making pennies. She was still walking because she couldn't afford to take the bus, you know, so on and so forth. But she said when she would meet people and she would say, I'm a writer, their whole tune would change. It would, because now she's worthy of getting, like, people find her worthy to know. They want to ask follow-up questions. They think she's smart, even though she technically doesn't make that much. But her job in society has status and it has value. People see that as like valuable or interesting. Even though she's like, I was always interesting. I was always a writer. I was always creative. But I worked at the grocery store. So that's just the mindset of people. And it's hard to shake. And I was a victim of that. I really was. So I just had to suck it up and just be like, you know what? This is where you are. This is not where you're going to be. Hopefully in a year from now. No, not hopefully. Definitely. You're not going to be here a year from now. Just suck it up and go out and get the job. So this is where you are now. It doesn't have to be where you stay.